what we want to do with you right now, Dr. Lloyd, is that Agee and I got this thing called halftime, man.
Okay.
So we're going to hit you with some quick hitters. And Agee, go ahead and hit him with that first question.
All right. Doc, the 3 toughest college stadiums you played in.
Notre Dame back there, Cincinnati, and arch rival, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. Don't even get me started on
okay.
Wisconsin. Don't even get me started.
We'll say don't even get me started on Wisconsin.
Man, 90 miles away, boy, you don't understand. I-94, it goes down, man, both ways.
That's right.
Give me the 2 toughest players you had to guard in college.
In college? Man, I'm too old, man. I can't remember. I know one guy, I'm serious, I'm too old. This guy from Oklahoma, man, he gave me the business, man. And we became friends. I can't remember. We became friends for the last year or 2 of our college career. He was just sweet, man. He was just sweet with that thing, man. But I'll tell you what. I'll come home a little bit. Tony Parker Sr.
Really?
Oh, was a killer. 6'4", could put it on the floor, could do everything you in. And the other thing was he could put it in that hole.
I love it.
Natural score.
Well, we know. I mean, shoot, look at his kids.
Yeah, he was a real deal. Yeah.
Wow.
He played at Leo High School and Loyola, and I was at Mount Carmel and obviously Marquette. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I always tell him, I got the best of you, man. I had 43 and there wasn't even no 3-point shot then, man.
That's right.
So is that the Candace Parker's daddy?
No, that's another Parker. We're talking about Tony Parker Jr. that played with San Antonio's dad.
Oh,
okay.
That Tony Parker.
Tony Parker.
Really?
Yeah.
That Tony Parker.
He's from the States? I didn't know he's from the States.
Yeah. Well, no,
wow.
Tony Parker Sr. went and played overseas in France. And that's when he had Tony Parker Jr. That's where he grew up and then came here and played.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Because it's 2 of them, right? Because one played at Northwestern.
Another Tony Parker, I think is Candace Parker's brother. Candace Parker's brother. Yeah, who wound up playing in the league for about 7-8 years.
Yeah, sure did. Yeah. Played with Toronto. Yep.
So the 3 toughest guys you had to guard in the NBA.
That's kind of easy. Tiny Archibald, who was my man. Ooh. Okay, that was my man. He showed me and taught me a lot. Calvin Murphy. And Calvin Murphy, the reason why it was hard guarding Calvin Murphy, first of all, he's one of the dirtiest players I ever played against in my life. Okay. I mean, that motherfucker was dirty, okay? Okay. Now, he was a black belt in karate, so I wasn't getting ready to get crazy with him, okay?
Right.
But he was so good with his feet. So you could be bringing the ball up the court. And he'd have his hands out. He wouldn't even have his hands on you. But he knew how to time your feet and put his foot right in front of you, trip and fall, ball up there, he'd pick it up, going for a layup. He could do that shit all day, okay? Yeah. And the other one was Fred Brown who was from Milwaukee. Played at Iowa and won a championship with Seattle Supersonics. Because he would be talking trash. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The whole game.
Fred Brown.
Oh, man. Oh, boy, it's so good to see you. You know why, though, don't you? Because I knew him because he was from Milwaukee. So, that was a friendship, we were cool. But, when he saw me, he was like, it's so good to see you. I'm going to light your ass up.
You got to love it. You got to love it.
Yes, sir.
Woo. Now, I know this question. I may even know the answer, man, but what kicks were you playing in back in the day? And part 2 to that question is, what are you wearing today?
Oh, man. Okay, so the kicks I was wearing, initially, Pro Ked was the real deal, okay? So I wore my Pro Keds, and back then, we used to be able to have the magic mark and make them the color you want to with the suede. So, we was...
Oh, yeah.
So we would have the killer uniforms, and then we had to kill with the sneakers, right? So that's what I wore. And then when I got in the league, Nike came to me and said, hey, man, could you wear Nikes? I'm like, cool. Now, we weren't making a lot of money, but for back then, it was a nice buck. Plus, you got paid extra if you were in the playoffs. So I was a Nike guy. And then, when you go to Oregon, you go to the warehouse, you pick out everything you want. My whole family was laid with Nike gear, man. I mean, everybody, even my little kids, people were like, what? Because this back in the day now, how these little kids got Nike? Man, I go there and clean them out, baby. And they still do that today for Nike guys, man. You go there, you fill up your stuff, ship it on back home. Good stuff.
Wow.
So today, let me tell you something, man. I'm still loyal to Nike. I mean, and the Air Maxes, I wear a lot of LeBrons and I wear a lot of Kyries, but you know, I'm a Nike dude, man. When my wife and I met, she had some Converse. She's like, these are sweet. I say, sweet enough to stay in the closet. You ain't going with
Yeah. He had to flip his wife to Nike, baby.
Yes, I did, man. Dude.
Hey, did you catch how he said it? Sweet enough to stay in the closet.
Man, she had on her Nike stuff. We went to the game Sunday, and I get her stuff customized. So her name is Sally. So she had Sal Wall on the back, and she was telling me, she's strutting. I was like, yeah, man.
Okay, Don, let me get you this one. I don't know if you're watching a lot right now, but 3 TV shows you're watching right now.
Oh, gosh. Snowfall.
Okay.
Ozark comes back on tomorrow.
Yep.
And then Billions.
Oh, you like Billions?
Oh, man. Come on, man.
You like X, huh? They took him off, man. X gone.
Yeah, X gone.
To jail.
I don't really like this guy, but I kind of like the story.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, so yeah.
Them three hot ones right there. I like those.
Yeah.
Hit them, Will.
Yeah, absolutely. So what 2 hobbies that you have that we would never guess?
Hobbies?
Yes.
Hey, man, I'm an avid golfer. Okay, and I picked up golf at a later stage in life. I love golf. Okay, now I ain't great.
What about it? You love it? You trying to get this white ball into this long, far hole that's 300 yards away from
you. We all athletes on this call, man. We love a challenge. And the challenge is the course. It's not the people you playing. It's although it turns into that a lot of times, it's really you going against the course. Can I make this? I got a tree 100 yards ahead, but the hole is around the corner, right? And we love challenges and we get so stubborn, we be like, the hell with, I'm going over the damn tree, right? And then your butt be stuck in all of that verse for the next 4 hits, man. And the thing about golf, you can have one great hole or hit one great shot and you be back there the next morning, man. I love the challenge of it. I don't do nothing but talk smack, smoke my cigars, and me and Clyde Travis play a lot together. When my wife and I moved out here, one of the things she was talking about all the different stuff she wanted in the house and all that. I was like, she said, what you want? Well, first of all, I want a side garage because I don't believe in that garage in front of my crib, okay? The second thing I want golf courses. I got 15 golf courses within 20 minutes max of my house.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to get out your way, man, and go 18 with you. You know, I've been playing golf since I was in
how many strokes you gonna get? How many strokes you gonna give me?
I need some strokes. Listen, every picture you put up, either you doing your job or you on the golf course. I don't see no other photos you put up. So the question is, how many strokes you gonna give me?
Come on, let's just play. Where are you at? Where you based at? You in San Antonio?
I'm in San Antonio.
Man, how long you been there? Wow.
10 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes they send me to San Antonio, man. But definitely the next time I have to come to San Antonio,
really?
I'm going to hit you up. But man, I didn't know you were in San Antonio.
Well, you know, we got a PGA course out here.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, where you at, Art?
So bring them.
Oh, okay.
I'm in Chicago.
Okay.
West Side.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So
bring them clubs, man.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing, man. I thought you was gonna give me something crazy, man. I know you play golf.
Okay.
I want to know, is there something that you do? Like, do you play the flute? Are you a private DJ? I mean, what you doing that we don't know you doing? That's a hobby of yours.
I read every morning.
Gotcha.
I read every single morning. And I'm not trying, I read stuff that is going to, this is my latest book, Letting Go. Seriously. I got, and my little grandson was here about 2 weeks ago, and he looked at my bookshelf and said, well, Papa, Whose books are these? Are my books. Did you read all of them? Yes, I read all of them. I love to read. I wish I had been reading when I was much younger, because as you know, as you read, you get more creative. It takes you places that maybe you can't go. But I read every morning. I come down to my office, have my tea, and I read. After that's my prayer, my meditation. That's where I get my day started.
Wow.
Yeah. And I love it, man. I love it. I'm a lifelong learner, and that's the name of my company, Lifelong Winners. I'm always going to be trying to learn something, man. If not for me, for somebody that I love and care about.
Yeah, that's what I told. That's what I always tell my kid. You know, I'm always learning. Just because I'm out of school, that don't mean I'm stop learning.
Hey, man, I got a question to ask you, though, Art. This just made me think of this, man. If you don't mind, can I ask y'all a question?
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You went to Marshall High School, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
City baller, killer. Did anybody ever tell you, just in terms of your game, your mannerisms on the court, of anybody that you remind them of that play now?
Well, no, it was Isaiah Thomas back then. A few of the older guys on the outside court.
Okay, because that's what I was going to say. For what I remember, yeah. For what I remember, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, man. How I don't know, man. I just think we have an unbelievable brotherhood of Chicago greats, right? And I mean greats, man. And you know, the thing about it is that sometimes I think people outside of our brotherhood only look at it as if you played pro or something like that, right? And to me, that's don't do that. You know, that's not it. That's not it. Okay. Is a special kind of player that plays in Chicago, that grew up in Chicago. Okay. It's a special kind of player. I don't care. And I put us up against anybody, period. And I'll get into these arguments, obviously, with somebody from LA and particularly always from New York, right? Always from New York.
Of course.
And so it's always good when I see Zeke on, you know, NBA TV and stuff, who gives Chicago props, man. But, you know, if you didn't play pro, just ask the people who did play during that kid's era, and they'll tell you what a killer he is, right? Or was, right? Because that's all they think about. And I'm like, no, man, I had guys, I don't know if you heard this guy, Arthur Sivils, was the coldest player I ever played against in my life. I'm serious. I mean, from the projects, from Ida B. Wells, okay? Ain't nobody had handles like that since, in my opinion, until I maybe look at, and this is honest God truth, Kyrie, seriously. He had those kind of handles, okay? Then, okay? And I've seen it, and he put me in it before, okay? Okay, he put me in it. I'm telling about he was a magician with that ball, for real. People, you know, and once you leave the limelight, people don't even know. You know, people don't know. You got these young people, they be like, let me list the top guys. And you're like, really? You know, let me list the top 100 players. Really? You're missing so many different people, man. Who are you? I'm 20 years old. Man, get out of here, man.
Yep.
You know what I was going to say?
20 years old.
You know what I was going to say, Dr. Lloyd? Actually, I know Agee loves Isaiah Thomas, but he actually reminds me more of you.
Really? Well, let me say this. When people saw me play, when saw Isaiah, when he emerged, that's what they said. Man, he reminds me of you. I never told Zeke, right? But next time I see Zeke, I'm going to tell Zeke, okay? Okay. And let me tell you, when I first saw Zeke play, seriously, it was on TV. They were playing in some kind of tournament or something like that. I was like, this is kind of crazy, man. That's the way I play. And Zeke was obviously much younger, but I was like, this is the way I play. Damn. But I never told Zeke, man. But next time I see his butt, I'm telling him, man, you know you got your game from me, man. You need to give me some props.
Joe, the one.
That's right.
It's one play that I saw Isaiah Thomas do, and they actually showed it, a clip of him downstate, I guess when they was playing against Westinghouse. And Zeke was just so confident in whatever he did with the ball, that it was a tip-off, the ball was going out of bounds, some Westinghouse guy was jumping out of bounds to save it in, and Zeke caught it and went directly to going to his basket. So a dude started chasing him from Westinghouse. The dude went up, Isaiah went up and posed the ball like he was finna lay it in and then just brought it back down real quick. Dude swiped like that. And Zeke just calmly just went back up and laid it in. Like it was just like, it's just instinct, confident. And you think he trying to be pretty or nothing like that. It was just his game like that. He was just so confident in it. And I got two players I want to ask you about who you played with.
Wow.
Ernie Grunfield and Norm
Two very
Van
good
Lith.
friends of mine. Rest in peace, Norm. So Ernie and I met. We played Tennessee in my sophomore year, and we beat them, and we just kind of dapped it up. And, okay, man, I'll see you soon, that kind of stuff. And then he got drafted to the Bucks, and we became like that. I met him when he met his wife, and now they've been married 30 plus years. I was with him when he met his wife. I know his son very well, Dan, who played at Stanford. And let me just tell you this. Ernie's from New York. And so he ain't afraid of the brothers and hanging out, okay? Man, without being too, without exposing.
Hey, we got it. We had his son on our show.
Well, I had him on Rush Street. And I had him on Rush Street. Every time we came to Chicago, we on Rush Street. We at Mom's house eating greens and cornbread and shit, right? We out there kicking it, if you know what I mean, till 3, 4 in the morning. So, yeah, okay, cool. Me and Ernie like that. Me, Ernie, Marcus Johnson. Marcus Johnson, I named my youngest son after Marcus. We kicking it preseason. Yeah, we go to Mom's crib, we eat. Then we just go to Rush Street. We kick it. It's about 4:35 in the morning. Okay, no, about 4 in the morning. We get to go to the hotel. We're going to lay down a little bit because we got like a 7:30 flight. Why you laying down? Because we crazy. We lay down. I done brought a couple of my homies with me, okay? But I know when I get to the room what to do. I'll call downstairs, say I need a wake-up call. Okay, no problem. Next thing I know, somebody knocking on my door. I'm like, shit, what is knocking on the door? I get up, it's Ernie. He's like, oh, shit. He tells Marcus, who's down the hall, hey, man, Lloyd's still here. He said, man, you know we missed the flight. I'm like, no, we couldn't. How we missed the flight, man? This don't make no sense. How we missed the flight? I'm pissed. I'm in the room. I'm like, damn. I said, man, I called for a wake-up call. They ain't even call me back. My boy said, oh, man, that woman called talking about wake up. I said, I didn't ask for no wake up. Goodbye. He from the hood, man. He don't know nothing about no wake-up call, man. He don't know nothing about Hey, man, we had to pay for our own flight, and we got fined $500, man. So it's got a lot of them stories, man. But Ernie was my boy. And then Ernie, when he became general manager of the New York Knicks, he hired me as a scout. And that's when I was working at the Jordan place. He said, man, you want to scout? I'm like, yes, I do. He said, okay, well, you be our regional scout for colleges, you know, Big Ten, all the schools in the area. That's on you. Yep.
Hey, that's love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. That's love.
So how long did you do the scouting thing?
4 years, yep.
And give us some names of the players that you went back to the upper heads with and say, I got my eye on these.
Man, it's been so long. I want to tell you a couple stories though, because I don't remember player for player, but I remember this big white boy, 6'10", played at Cleveland State. Okay, I mean, he was doing work too, right? And so one of the things that I realized certainly back then was that, you know, like you could be playing well, but you could play better. Okay. So my thing was like, you know, I try to give some advice too, besides just scouting you. So I was sharing with him, you know, I met his coach and I was saying, man, you come back for another year, man, you will be a very high pick, meaning in the first round, you know? And he didn't. He came out of school and it was a late second round pick. But, you know, when you get picked will determine some of your future. Because if you go in the first round, people are not going to give up on you as quickly they will be in the second, back then the third and fourth round. They're going to stick with you. Mm-hmm. But I remember this other story that I was faced with when I had to come before the group to talk about the players that I've gone to see. And I think they switched it up because a lot of times some of the guys would only see a guy play once. And suppose somebody came to see you and you played your best game. Think about what they would say. But also think about a game that you didn't have a good game. What would they say, right? And so when I would come back, certainly the first year, I would tell them, man, I need to see him again. And they would say, well, why? I said, well, here's the stats from the game, okay? And we've been told he's a better player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's fair to that player that we only see him once. I need to see him a minimum of 3 times so I can give you an honest evaluation.
Yep.
And I think they adopted that afterwards, that everybody needs to go see their guys at least 3 times, you know, to be able to give it that kind of evaluation that's more true than just seeing somebody once. Because nobody wants to be evaluated on the best or the worst games of their life, because that's not, you know, it's not it. But yeah,
Right.
that was a fun time, man. That was a real fun time. I love to scout. I learned a lot about scouting and what to look for, you know. I mean, it got down to, you know, this guy likes to turn left over his shoulder. You know, it wasn't just playing little things, you know. When he's on the right side of the floor, he's going to try to get back left, but he's going to, first of all, give you a pump to the right. Little things like that I saw people putting in their report, that now when I watch the game, and ever since then, I look at those little things that players do and not just the overall game. Yeah.
Right. Now I'm wondering.
Hold on, Agee. Let me do this real quick so that we'll have this just for editing purposes. So I just want to say, Dr. Lloyd, thanks for doing halftime with us, man. We appreciate, you know, the quick wit on that. All right, go ahead, Agee.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because now, you know, they usually bring guys now in and they work them out just to see their conditioning and their energy level. But I say you can't really truly get a gauge on a guy unless he going up against the best. Like, I need to see him in a 5-on-5 with some 5 good guys out there, him going against the 5 dudes that's already starting for that team in the NBA. Like, that's how I can gauge a guy. Because I want to see his heart match up against this dude's heart. Like, is he gonna? I want to see somebody getting the better of him, and then I want to see him say, "Oh no,
yeah,
I'm finna turn this shit around."
What they do now, and I forgot the 2 players was, but it was involved in CP3. So, because now they don't put you on 5-on-5. There's no 5-on-5 anymore in the pre-draft when there used to be, and that was a very, very telltale sign once you came to the pre-draft 5-on-5. And I'll give you a couple quick stories, but. Chris Paul was, I forgot where he was, but one of the agents called him and said, could you come and work out? We got this player that's going to be drafted. And he went over there and he said, man, I just killed him. But they were evaluating him. They weren't evaluating me. They were evaluating him. He said, 2 years later, I'm out with my family, so and so. And they're like, hey, man, we in town? Can you come and work this guy out? He said, so I went on, spent the time with my family. I went there the next day. I wasn't thinking about no ball. And the guy killed me, man. He just ate me up, right? So, and I wish I remembered the guy's name. He said, because it reminded me what I did to the guy 2 years before that, right? Because it was just one-on-one. Because that's what they do now, Arthur, is that they make you go against other guys that play your position, okay? Now, let's look at our home front. A kid that we all believed and thought was going to be in the NBA. And I'm getting old, I forget the kid's name, jump out to Jim from Farragut. Ronnie, right? So at that time, I'm a coach at the pre-draft. And I seen Ronnie play for 2 years. I know how athletic he is. I know how explosive he is, right? And my heart was just broke, man, because first, he didn't come to the pre-draft in shape. These guys are coming to get jobs, right? After the first 3 or 4 minutes, his hands is on his knees. He can't do it. He can't get up and down. And I know it's in him, right? But hey, man, here's where everybody is. This is where you got to show it. I know you should. And he didn't. But here's another kid who, Stephen Hunter, okay, from DePaul. Run like a deer, and that all he did was rim run for the whole week and wind up being a first-round pick. Okay? Rim ran.
He just ran from rim to rim.
He was getting dunks on the defensive end. He was blocking alternate shot. He shot up that damn board like you wouldn't believe because of that. Yep. That stuff matters.
Are you serious?
2 other real quick ones. I interviewed both of these guys. I'm going to be trying to post it. One is Shea Cotton, and the other one is Lenny. I can't think of Lenny. From L.A., right?
Shea Cotton from L.A., right?
Was rated the number 1 player in the country his senior year. And Lenny.
Oh, yeah. He had LeBron. Yes. He had LeBron like type high school
Lenny
like
Cook
type
from
stuff.
New York, right?
Yep.
Number 1 rated players in the country, and neither one ever got drafted and played in the NBA. I did a 4-hour interview with them, okay, and just talked about like what happened. Lenny got sidetracked because a white family took him in, right? So he was living out in the suburbs, going to this school, that school, but then the hood kept pulling him back. And then this guy came to him, wannabe agent, said, man, I'll give you $250,000. And he took the money, what became important then was let me get the little ride, let me get the whip, let me get all the other stuff, and not getting to the gym.
Yeah,
he had the same issue when he came to the pre-draft. Even though he hurt his ankle, he just wasn't the same because he had been killing up to that point, right? Shea Cotton, the same thing, who, as you already alluded to, was a beast before LeBron. Everybody talked about how good he was. And he said, man, I was just a dog, man. I was left-handed, physically fit. I was always in shape because my daddy was a laborer and he always had me carrying bricks. So this ball thing wasn't nothing to me. And he had a problem the first year in college. He wound up going to Alabama. The second year in college, things didn't work out. And his family said, just come home. And he never played again. So unfortunately, he's doing the same thing now out in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He has a documentary.
And he's got a bunch of kids that he mentions now and what have you. But the interview was so damn poignant, man, to have two guys that was rated #1 in the country who never got a chance to play. So, this thing is not all that predictable, man. We don't know what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, man. It's just life on life terms. That's one of the things that I'm doing with my company is the life coaching part. Everybody has a coach in there with their respective sport, right? But when life happens, like I didn't have a life coach, right? To say, man, I ain't feeling right.
What you gonna do?
And for him to dig deeper and say, well, man, are you depressed or what's going on in you? Why are you not playing? Well, because I'm not playing, okay? And really find out how we deal with that. The same thing with these guys, man. Everybody needs a life coach, particularly athletes, and it's for athletes only, for these life skills, transition plans, and life coaching, branding and strategic networking. So
that's funny. I just seen Bobby Simmons because I'm quite sure they didn't have a rookie transition program when you went to the league, right?
Me. Yeah. Yeah. You know why Bobby's with the
Bobby Simmons? Who you?
Yeah. Right. I just saw your picture.
Okay, that's my man. When I helped him
Facebook.
When he was in the league, first of all, I told him, particularly back then, you need to get your degree. I worked with the academic advisor. He got the degree, he got to the league. I worked with him. And, we became not just mentor-mentee, we became friends, right? And he was like, man, I need to get with the NBA. I want to do this and that. And, when the word came down, I was like, we need Bobby Simmons. They brought him on. And Bobby's just doing well, man. He's got 3 or 4 businesses. He just bought a damn property in Memphis, 350-something units, in Memphis, man. He's man.
Really?
Yes. These are apartments, man. 300 units, man.
This is residential. Wow.
That's my dude, man. A great dude, man. Always, trying to help, particularly in the community, man. Yeah. And we just need more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that too, man. I'm so glad you said that because we actually want to transition to that. And how are you on for time, by the way?
Come on, man. We got 20 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Because a couple of things we want to transition to. One, the things that you're doing now, and it's funny that you was talking about Ronnie Fields because I was at that draft camp. I was up there watching him, man, and I actually kind of use this when I go out and speak. I remember Ronnie getting a fast break.
Okay.
And he went up and does, the Ronnie Field windmill. And I'm looking around, no exec claps, no execs, excited. Because they like, I've seen that before, and when I go out and speak, I was like, man, what's next? I was looking like, what more do you have to offer? So what particularly are you doing now with the NBA?
Well, I've been doing this for 23 years. I'm the senior career counselor, man. And, I didn't think I was going to be around here that long, 23 years, long time, man. When I got the opportunity to become a counselor, an entry level, it was because I wanted to be close to the game. And I wanted to see if I could help players of today's time, right? Yeah. And then I just started loving it. because I began to see some of the results. I was starting to get kids coming into the league between 18 and 20 years of age. And then 3 years down the road, I would see the maturity, right? And how accountable they would become, how responsible they become. And intrinsically, man, my heart would be warm because I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Give the kid a chance. You're so young. We all make mistakes when we're young, man. Give the kids a chance.
Yeah.
And having conversations with guys, they say, I'm the OG with millennial ways. And I just take that as I know how to communicate with them and discuss things, man. And so helping them go where they want to be off the court and in their future. That's the bottom line for me. Where do you want to be? I want you to have the ability to create your own life when all is said and done. Now, sometimes we don't know when that's going to be. So I work with all players from the time they come in the league until the time they leave. Now, I do have certain teams that I'm focused on in the Midwest. You look at Toronto, Minnesota, Indiana, Chicago, Detroit. I got one team on the East Coast that I wouldn't give up because it's too much fun. That's Miami. Okay, I ain't giving that up. But when players come in, we start trying to establish a relationship of trust, right? That I don't want anything from you. I don't want no shoes. I don't want no tickets. One thing I want from you is that you have the best career that you can have and prepare for your future because that's coming. Whether you want to admit it or not, it's coming, okay?
It's coming.
So a lot of times we as Black men never want to look at the future because it's almost impending doom. Meaning that if I'm looking at retirement, I shouldn't be focused on retirement. I should be focused on No. That's not what I'm saying to you, son. I'm saying to you is that retirement is going to come, period. Okay? I don't care if you play 20. It's still coming. Now, you might play 3, you might play 4, but it's coming. So let's sit down and help prepare you for when that time comes. What is it that you want to do? Do you want to go in real estate? You want to do broadcasting? We have all those programs, which I never had when I played. We didn't have any programs. We get it now. And even if you can't come up with one of the programs that we have, tell me what it is, and we will create it for you and introduce you to people who can help and guide you.
Who can help?
That's what we do, okay? One of the problems and the challenges is that both of you all can imagine, they making so much money now, they don't even think about the future like they should. I mean, when we talk about that, let me just say the average salary. Look, the average salary is $8 million.
That's average.
Come on, man. You talking about $8 million, man. That's the average salary. Now, yeah, of course, there's some guys who are fringe players. They're going to make the minimum. The minimum is $750, but more likely ain't nobody making the $750. You're going to make $1 million no matter what, right? That's not going to last forever unless you do the right things. That's all I'm trying to get you to do. And I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead. You get ready to say something.
No, I was going to say the money now, it has changed their attitudes and their work ethic. And I can just an example. A young dude, like you said, making 8 to 10 million, he's not pushing himself and not going as hard as every day and understanding that the reason why you got the 8 million was because of what you had done and what we had seen. Now, this is a grown man's world. What have you done for me lately? Is you finna let this money alter your mind and your mentality and your discipline and your focus? Because if you do, your ass gonna be out of the league in some months. But if you take an approach of understanding this can be taken away from me anytime if I don't do these 3 things: skill set, mindset, work ethic every day. Like that has to come first and foremost for me to be able to get this 8 million, keep the 8 million and make more. Now these guys have let social media and the money that they make talk to assistant coaches all crazy, not listening to their mentors. Like I see this.
Crazy, man. Paul Silas used to say, man, that if you got great coach, you got to get on your team, and
great fucking coach.
He earned that bag. We're gonna trade him as soon as he earned that bag because he ain't gonna be worth shit going forward. He ain't gonna work as hard. But let me say this, man, and I see you. It's real talk.
And that's real talk coming
But
from
the other
Paul
part is that,
Silas.
man, think about this, man. And the reason why I love Giannis, I was with him when he came in the door, and Milwaukee's, because they drafted me, I have a special affinity for them each and every year. You think about our foreign players, man. Have you ever heard, seen, or every foreign player ever getting in any kind of trouble? No. You know why?
Nope.
You know why? Because
Not at all. I mean, even going back to the Draws and Petrovic days.
Because they're going back to what we were in the 70s and 60s and 80s. They don't feel like they're entitled. They appreciate the opportunity that's been given to them. Okay? And we've gotten away from that. You guys love the damn game. It was about playing the game, competing. Yep. Okay? I'm going to compete, right? I'm going to compete. We're going to hoop. I'm coming at you, and you coming at me. We're going to dap it up when we done. I got guys now talking about, man, I don't play in the summer. I don't play. I ain't playing. I ain't practicing with that guy, man. I don't want him to know what I'm doing. Really?
Right.
Really?
Right.
The hell are you talking about, man? That means you only got one move. You scared?
Right.
And man, so guys now.
That's right.
You were talking earlier. You guys were alluding to, was my family thinking about, you're going pro? No. Now every kid, because we have a top 100 camp. Every kid at our top 100 and so forth, even those are not, their family are thinking about they can be a pro player. And when their family is putting that kind of pressure on you, inadvertently, not even realizing it, not being cognizant of it, they're putting that pressure on you, and you're beginning to think that too. You think you're somebody special, that you're going to get this special opportunity. That takes away from everything that you named, your work ethic, your desire to play, to get better. That takes away from that. All of that needs to be put aside, man. Absolutely. Enjoy the game for what it gives you in terms of playing, not for a damn endorsement. Yeah. Okay? Not to be on TV, not to be with a certain brand. And that's what I see guys today doing because they want to be with this brand. They want to get endorsements. Not that I want to come and hoop against you. Come on, in an all-star game, you saw Giannis diving on the floor for a loose ball. In an all-star game. Guys don't even want to get in the dunk contest because I want to compete. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the question though, how do they manage that? Because especially now with the NIL rules, how
things are going to.
What do they?
I don't know. I brought this up on our conference call last week, and we've had some different, varying opinions, man. Like with the NIL rule, just think about this. And I think about the kid who was Player of the Year this year from Kentucky, African brother, right? So. I've talked to a couple scouts. He'll be a first-round pick. Let me just ask you a question. Would y'all agree he'd be a first-round pick or not?
No.
No?
No.
All right.
I'm talking about from this perspective.
I think so.
First-round pick. I love what he does. He's defensive mentality. He reminds me of the old days, but I'm talking about in terms of today's game.
Yeah.
I don't think they think he's a first-round pick.
So here's the deal. Let me just say, and I think that he's a first-round pick, but here's why I think he's a first-round pick. Because I look at the class. Okay? That's why I think he would be a first-round pick. But whether he is or not, here's the deal. This is the situation that he's created, that he's fortunate enough to have. Okay, I'm going back to school for another year. Well, that's a bonus because you're going to get better. You're going to play better. You're going to understand the game better. That's a bonus for you. But also because of NIL, somebody's going to give me $2 million. I don't have to rush off and get that money. I don't have to rush and go get that bag, even if you're right that he ain't ready yet, right? So to me, it changes the landscape of how players are going to think. For me, I'm thinking like, if I can get the money and stay in college and get better and guarantee me a higher spot, I'm going to take the bag. Why wouldn't I? So yeah, it's going to change the game, man. But I was just thinking about him. Who else was I thinking about? The kid from Kansas, McCormack.
Yep.
I don't know if he's going back to school, but my question would be, would he improve? Because at Kansas, he would get the NIL bag. He'd get that,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And it was one other guy. I can't think of the other guy from. But so that changes the landscape. It could benefit the players like it should have done for years, right? Give us some money, right? You're using me. Give me some money for what you're using me for. And it allows you to take some of the pressure and stress off you if you particularly have to help your family. Think about that. Think about if you were in school, man, and your family needed, and you could pick up a meal for your last year and be able to help your family.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, Doc, just speaking of that, I never, when I was playing and the camera was on me, I never felt pressure from my family, like from my friends or even the newspapers, because I always felt like don't nobody know me. Like, they don't give a fuck about where I'm at Marshall. Like, they talking about the Keywan Garrises and the dudes at King. I'm like, I'm gonna fuck these boys up. So it was like I never had that pressure. I'm like, they don't know nothing about me. They don't know how I'm gonna come at their ass. So I can just come like that. So that's why I was able to, in my senior year, I was able to just play and have fun.
Well, I think that, man,
this
because
shit is fun.
all of the outside stuff that these kids are faced with now, y'all didn't have it. I know I didn't have it. You didn't have none of that. I mean, we just wanted the ball, man. You guys just kept talking about being outside hooping in the playground. Hell, the only time we went outside, there was an official game, right? We got in the gym. I mean, young people don't understand that, man. Right. We would say, what park you gonna be at, right? We coming to hoop at that park.
Right.
That was it, man. These kids, they won't even play outside. And this is, I just don't understand a lot of this stuff. And since we're just talking, man, I don't understand, even at our level, at the pro level, I don't understand that guys have so many resources and things that help them. Look, every place I go, every team I go to has their own facility. They got their own chef cooking food back there. Maybe 2 or 3 guys cooking food back there. So you can come to the facility, get your breakfast, right? You can get your lunch, you take food home. Almost every player has a masseuse, right? When I was playing, we had to get on commercial flights. And if I'm the vet and I'm 6 feet tall and you're a rook and you 7 feet tall, you take your ass to the back and get in coach. Everybody got their own plane now, right? You're flying private. You're flying private. You got your chef, okay? You got everything you need. Why are you taking a day off? How can you take a day off?
Right.
From hooping. All we want to do is hoop. And you got to take a game off. How can you take a... Hey, man, something's wrong with the way the game is addressed today to me. Because I know, man, even if you got a nick and the coach would be saying, man, maybe you should sit out. Man, not sitting out, man. I'm playing. That was the hardest thing to keep a kid from playing when you think they needed some time off. Now the thing is, the hardest thing to do is to get them to play.
Right.
Hey, Doc, I believe that's why the guys in the 80s and the 90s, like, that's why I feel that Michael Jordan is so... And Michael Jordan knew this when he was a fucking rookie. He was like, I'm not worried about the none of the endorsements and shit like that. I'm gonna make sure I got to get the Bulls up out of the basement of the Eastern Conference. So I'm gonna let my play dictate all that other shit that come to me, endorsement deals where people saying to me and all that. No, Michael Jordan ain't never ever called himself a GOAT.
That ain't it, man. And let me just say this: there's only a few guys over the last 15 years that could have played in the 80s and 90s and be successful. Now you could play, but I'm talking about be successful, right? It's just crazy now because I don't know if you guys noticed, but I think it was about 15 years ago. So the NBA did a study, paid millions of dollars for this study to be done to figure out how you bring more people into the arenas, how you get more people to turn on the TV. And the study came back and said, one of the problems is that you have the greatest athletes in the world, but they're not allowed to show how great they are because there's too much holding, pushing. The game is too physical. So the NBA came back and said, well, we're going to have to change the rules because we want guys to be able to move without being impeded. We won't take the physicality out of the game so guys can run, jump, duck, and show their athleticism. So that's what you got now. And it starts at the NBA and always filters down to the younger kids all the way down. So now you got kids who think because I touch you, you're fouled, okay? Now, I know we got some great cities in America, but I know what Chicago is like, okay? You couldn't play in Chicago with that touch shit and call it a foul, okay? Even if we was playing varsity, we about to fight, man. You ain't getting no foul call, man. Stop being a punk, okay?
Hey, listen, Dr. Lloyd, I remember when I was at Marquette, and we did the same thing. The Bucks would come down and play with us, man, at the old gym. So the first guy that's guarding me, right, I go make a move. Alvin Robinson grabbed my waist, boom, and put me right back in front of him. He was like, "Where you going, young buck?" He was like, "You ain't going nowhere, young buck. Come back here."
Right.
I mean, one hand, boom, and put me right back in front of him.
That's just how Jim Price was from Louisville. 6'4", built like a linebacker. Yeah, go ahead, Arn.
I know William was getting the same stuff taught to him at an early age by Curtis. You know, it's a scene in a movie where they playing against each other, and Will, you know, Curtis got him stopped. Will done picked up this dribble. So Will just studied pivoting, spinning on one foot, trying to get the shot up. The motherfucker go up under Curtis' arm and falls back and hit the damn shot. And everybody out on the court who watching it like, oh! So Will on the ground like this. I'm talking about Curtis like wasn't finna let him get shit. So Will on the ground, and he was like, "That's what I do. I bump him and bruise him. Let him know you gonna have to go through this foul. Oh, the ref ain't called no foul. So what, nigga? Keep playing." When I saw that shit, I was like, "Oh, that's why that motherfucker that good right now." Okay,
I'm gonna bruise you. I'm gonna knock you down. And if you don't get back up, I'm gonna pick you up and beat you down and knock you down again. I mean, but that was how everybody played in the greens. You know, when I was growing up in Cabrini, that was all I knew. I got to be honest with you, Dr. Lloyd. When I went to St. Joe's, and it probably was like this for you at Mark Kermit. When I went there and I saw the guys play, and no disrespect to those guys, man, they could play. But I said, man, y'all ain't tougher than the dudes I played with back home.
Wasn't even close, man. Wasn't even close. I felt like I was on vacation hooping at Mount Carmel. Shit.
And see, and where and I can stretch it further. What Will saying is that dudes in the hood had a pride about themselves. About motherfucker, my defense and your offense, I ain't finna let you score. Like, no.
How about the cat, man, who just got off the bus, got on work clothes, and come out and give you 20?
Wait a minute, Will. Wait a minute. What about the dude? What about the dude that's standing over there? You see him every day, and his shoes is toe up, and he finally get picked, and he's like, "Oh shit, this motherfucker's giving it to me, man. Look, man."
Yeah, hit you, boom, boom.
We have a special thing about Chicago ballers, man. It was always physical, right? It didn't matter. It was always a physical game. It was almost, to me, it was almost like a rites of passage for you to be able to say, now I'm at that next level. And usually older guys beat your ass because they wanted you to be tough and learn how to play the game, right? But you would know, and they would know when you finally got through that rites of passage and you now could be at this level. That's the only way I knew how to play, man.
That's right.
That's what I learned. And that's one thing. And me and him have a few differences every now and then. That's why I still love Pat Bev, because he's an old school player.
Yeah. Pat get right on you, don't he? And then look at you.
Like,
dare you say something.
But hey, Doc, and see, Pat Bev, he went through that same thing I went through. Like, you got to understand, he was in high school with Sherrod Collins and Derrick Rose. They was talking about them too. He wasn't getting no love because he was on the west side at Marshall. You know, they kind of say Marshall ain't academically sound and the players play playground ball. They don't run no plays. So he had to go through that shit. So he had to prove himself every day. I'm talking about it wasn't no nights off. Oh, well, we playing Collins. We could take the day. No. Everybody in the Red West was coming for your ass, and he had to make a name for himself. So it was perfect for me to put the camera back on him to see what he was going to do.
On his shoulder, because that's what life has been for him in every sense of the word, okay? He will always have a chip on his shoulder. But the problem is, if you got to face him, you'd rather not face him. That's the bottom line. You'd rather not face him because he's going to talk shit to your ass and he's going to pick your ass up 90 feet, okay? Period. And he's going to talk shit just like he on the playground. I saw his ass the other day when he's talking about, he had a point to say, I'm going low with Ja Morant, right? You know, y'all watch the game. So he made a couple hoops inside the paint. He going even low.
Right.
Hey.
And look, and he know he ain't on that team to score really, but he do that type of shit to to get into the players' heads.
But his was
you know
crazy,
what I'm saying? He
though.
want people
If
to.
he played that game, if he not fouled out,
right, not like
John
that.
Morant don't get that
Not
bucket
like
at the end. At least he ain't get
You
he,
right,
he
Will.
ain't getting it like that. Right. He ain't getting it like that. But hey, Dr. Lloyd, I know we're running out of time, man. But Agee and I just got a couple more questions. Agee gonna hit you with a final question. But man, I gotta do this because, man, just to show the home team some love. Marquette University, man, you played with some monsters there. But there was this documentary out about you and Bo Ellis, about the untuck.
Bo been on the show?
Untucked jersey.
Okay.
Now, we had
Okay.
Bo on the show. And Bo said, yes. And Bo said,
no,
it
man,
was your idea.
let me tell my story, okay? So, back then, you know, yeah, he did. He did.
Hold on, he said he went to a designer class.
Back then,
off
you know,
campus.
one of the things that Bo wanted to major in was fashion design. Marquette didn't have fashion design. But as creative as Marquette was, they came up and found this school, St. Mary's, all-girls school, but Bo could take classes there. And so that's what he did. Now, so that first year, man, you know, jerseys coming out of our pants, and, you know, referees telling me, put your shirt in, and coach saying, put your shirt in. And I'm like, man, this is some bullshit, man. I ain't trying to take the shit out of these little short-ass uniforms and shit, man. So I said, Bo, you know how to design. You going to that damn school with all them girls. Can you design some shorts or something? He's like, well, I could design some jerseys. But who gonna do it? So I said, I'm going to coach. So I went to Coach McGuire. I said, Coach, Bo going to school, you know, for fashion design. He could design some uniforms for us where we don't have to keep trying to put them in. Could he do it? Now, mind you, Al was part owner of this company that made uniforms. So kind of like my mom when I told her I'd get them 2 A's. She was like, yeah. Tell Bo to design them. Yeah, okay. So me and Bo were roommates. I don't know how deep he got, but anyway, we're in our dorm room, chilling, okay? Chilling, okay? He's designing, we chilling, you know. Hey, what do you think about this, man? I'm like, I ain't wearing that shit, man. He said, go back, you know. Puff, pass, man. Come on, what you think about this, man? Man, I ain't wearing that shit, man.
Yeah.
So he finally came up with one. He explains it to me. He's like, okay, you know, so it's going to be like this. It's going to come out the pants. It's going to be real slick. You ain't got to tuck it in. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's take it to coach. So we take it to coach, and coach is like, okay. All right, because I know he didn't really think it at first, but once he saw that Bo put in the work, right, to design it, he's like, okay, well, let me take it down to the company and see what they could do. And that's how it came. The only mistake that Bo made in being a young kid and not knowing that he didn't get a patent on it. Because, you know, several years later, the NBA outlawed the uniforms because they said we had an advantage in recruiting because of that, which is crazy. But yeah, they outlawed them.
What? You guys, because of your uniforms, y'all had an advantage in that realm in recruiting.
Yeah, DePaul did it
but
one
the
year.
only crazy thing, couldn't other teams do it? Because didn't DePaul do it one
But
year?
yeah, that was, and they outlawed him, man. It was crazy, man. You know, all kinds of crazy stuff. That's my dude. That's my dude. That's my dude, man. We were just together a couple weeks ago. That's my man.
Yeah, he love you, man. Boy, he love you, man. Matter of fact, we wore y'all uniforms on y'all 25th anniversary when y'all came back to the school.
To wear them for that one time.
We wore those untucked jerseys, man. The NCAA allowed us to wear.
Yeah, man. That's my guy.
That one time, that was it, man. And
wow.
And my other question, man, for you about Marquette is man, when you think about Marquette and the history, because I'm not going to ask you the question who you think the greatest players that ever came out of there, because obviously you can just go down your one team and shoot. But when you think about Marquette, what does it mean to you? The university, the athletic team, Al McGuire, Rick Majerus, Coach Raymond, because y'all really put the university on the map. And then it dipped a little bit after you guys. But then, when we got there with Kevin O'Neal, it kind of, the rise became again,
It also came back a little when D-Wade got there with that coach. I can't think of his name. I thought he was
very special.
Yeah, I thought he was a charlatan, man. I didn't like the guy, period.
Tom Crean. Tom Crean.
Tom Crean.
You know, Marquette gave me an opportunity that I had not even dreamed of. You know, I was allowed to play the sport that I love at a high level. I was allowed and forced to educate myself, something that I didn't know how desperately I was going to need later on in life. It gave me a chance to interact with other cultures and other races at a different level. Mind you, at Mount Carmel was all boys, right? So now being able to deal with women of other races and what have you, to be able to see that I was just as smart as anybody else if I applied myself, but to also be able to find out that, this is the crazy, crazy, crazy part, man, is that I've had some incidences that showed me that everybody white is not a racist. You know what I'm saying? I've had some incidents that, you know, sometimes people try to paint all of us, all black men, with a broad brush, right? And they don't know us. They don't know our heart. They don't know how much we love and we care just about the next person. And a short bit was, you know, coming out of the old gym bar, 20 below, you know, 20 below zero. Damn, I'm fucked up. Me and Butch at that time. Damn, we got a flat, we got the ride, man. Two white boys, like 20 below zero, they changed the flat. Okay, now, it may not seem like major, but I wasn't changing no flat, okay? My point is that they did something they didn't have to do. Milwaukee was a different kind of city. Several years ago, in the dead of winter, I had to go see the Bucks for my annual meeting. And I come out of the practice facility and I hear this noise. Mind you, a day or two before, I just got the car back out of the shop. I hear this, I'm like, what the hell? Man. So I pull over and, because I don't know what the problem is. I don't want to make it any worse. And police pull up. And I said, who are you? What are you doing? So I was like, here's my credentials. You know, I work for the NBA and I just got meeting with the Bucks. And I'm having problems with my car. And he's like, well, you got to move your car. I said, but I don't want to, I think I may damage more if I drive it. He said, no, you got to move the cars. We're going to have it towed. I'm like, damn. So anyway, I move it over to the side. And I'm like, what an asshole. Mind you, it's snowing. There's a car pulls up. Older white guy rolls down the window. He said, hey, man, you got a problem? You need some help? I was like, well, I just called, you know, Mercedes. They're on their way. He said, okay, you sure? I was like, yeah. He said, all right. So he leaves. He comes back. Now I later found out his grandson in the car. They roll down the window again. Hey, man, you want to come in? You know, it's warm. It's cold outside. We're warm. You can get a cup of coffee if you want. It's like, no, I'm good. I'm there for another hour. It's still, the snow is coming down sideways. And I see this man walking from, later found out it was his house. And he says, look, you've been out here way too long, man. Come in, you can use the bathroom, have a cup of coffee, you know, warm up, man. You don't have to sit there and run the gas, man. And these things, to me, really gives me an opportunity to see the humanity in people, okay? Irregardless of the color of their skin, you know what I'm saying? And I have a appreciation for being able to meet those kind of people, to see that be part of their life, particularly in the times that we lived over the last 4 years where we had, in my opinion, a president to espouse hate and racism and stuff like that. It's good to other people, to see other people that care about you, and it ain't got nothing to do with the color of your skin, right? Because then I know there's always hope. Because I think about my grandkids, man. I don't want my grandkids coming up in a world of hatred and racism to the point that it affects their growth and their development and their success. So Milwaukee and Marquette gave me those kind of opportunities, man. And I'm forever grateful and indebted to that. That's why whenever they call me and say, can you come up, speak to the team or whatever, the alumni, I'm there. I'll see you. I'll be there. Because it meant that much to me. Playing for Coach Al McGuire taught me a lot of stuff. And I just want to tell you, this is the craziest story in the world, that sometimes you're your own worst enemy. There were games, at least 2 games my senior year, me and him would argue so much that I wouldn't even take a shot. Who the hell are you going to prove? What pro team want a mother that ain't even going to take a shot? Right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, when I look back, I'm thinking to
I know
myself,
Bo
like,
told us that.
okay,
Bo told
if
us
you really
that.
want to go pro, you got. Oh, I didn't tell you who the guy was calling me every to tell me I was going to be drafted. I didn't tell you who that was, did I? Jerry Krause. Jerry Krause.
No.
Jerry Krause
No.
was a runner for Arthur Morse, the agent in Chicago.
Really?
And a week and a half before the draft, Jerry Krause became the general manager of the Bulls. Okay, so now how do you think I felt when he became the general manager of the Bulls? I'm going to the Bulls. Wow. I'm going to the Bulls. Even if this is it, I'm gonna be at the crib,
you going
man.
to the Bulls.
Oh man, this part is I hate I missed this out. So he drafts Scott May, who played with Indiana, gold medal too, number one, made all the sense in the world. Number two, he takes a kid named Willie Smith out of Missouri. Willie Smith didn't make it past training camp before they cut him.
In camp.
Hey, man, look. Anyway, man,
he said they make
that
it
was
past
probably
training
the worst
camp.
thing that ever could have happened. Man, I could not believe this guy would gas me up for 6 months, basically, and then have a chance to choose me and don't choose me. That's why, I was just crushed. Like, how could he do this, man? And, you know, but anyway, you know, things worked out in a good way.
You got a great testimony, man, a great story, and I'm going to hit you with this last question. Doc, what's the next chapter in Dr. Lloyd Walton's Hoop Dream?
Well, I've told you guys, and I'm following in you guys' footsteps. A friend of mine, a white boy, grammar school friend, comes to me a year ago and says, "Hey, man, I want to do this documentary." I was like, "Okay, what is it?" He said, "It's about you and Coach McGuire." I'm like, "Wait a minute." He said, "Yeah, it's Coach McGuire." I'm like, "Okay." Who gonna want to read it? Who gonna want to see it, rather? He's like, "Trust me, just trust me." You know, he went to Harvard, smart guy. You know, I'm like, "Okay." So we sat down and I said, "Well, I'm gonna take half partnership in this with you. I'm not gonna let you do it yourself." So we started a company and we started filming already. It's called Al McGuire, Great Coach, Lloyd Walton, Better Student. And Butch is in it. I don't know if you guys know Jim Jones was the first major recruit that Al had. Okay, and you may not know this, but he was the first guy to leave school in the middle of the school year, middle of the season, to go pro. The ABA was starting to make their mark.
What?
And they needed another big name. They offered him $250,000 a year. He told Al, "I don't want to go." And Al said, "You got to go to help your family. You got to go." He left in the middle of the year. Marquette was ranked number 4 in the country. So Butch is in it, Bo's in it, Jim Jones is in it, my mom, my wife, and my kids. And then we're trying to get Billy Packer. He said he agreed to do it, and we're trying to get Al's son to be a part of it. But it just kind of chronicles our relationship. We had a lot of battles, just a lot of battles that I was his floor general. But you know, generals always got their own way of thinking. And so we would battle, but I love that man to this day. And I appreciate what he did for me. And then the other thing is the thing I told you about our company, my company that I started, Lifelong Winners Consulting, life skill, transition plans, life coaching, branding, strategic networking, and the ability to use your athletic platform. Those are the 5 services that people are going to be able to use. That's my baby. I've been thinking about this for 20 years, and the time is right now. Then I have my book, which is called First and 40. It's just being edited now since I was the first child born in my family in 40 years. So it chronicles my family from Alabama to here and the things that I've been able to do and the lessons that I've learned from a family. And that's it. My wife keeps telling me don't do anything else, but she's just as ambitious as I am. She has 2 masters and a doctorate degree and just finished a fellowship. And so we kind of battle, but there's really no battle because she's the smartest one in the house, and there ain't no question about that. I'm just along for the ride. So there's going to be something else. I want to finish everything that I just shared with you guys by the end of this year, if not before. And then there will be something else that I will do. I will keep continuing to build on this legacy for my family, particularly my grandkids. as long as I can, because I want them to know you can achieve basically anything that you want if you're willing to put the work and so many other things into it, because it's there for you.
Man, I'm telling you, Dr. Lloyd, man, what an honor, what a treatment. I can't even tell you, man, how proud I am, how excited I am, man, to be associated with you, to
inspire.
I mean, the whole 9 yards, but I mean, it's on a whole nother level for me, man. Just being in your presence, being in your company. You don't know how much we heard about the great teams that you guys played on. See, when I was there, Al McGuire was still alive. So he would come around and talk about you guys. And trust me, I know the fights that y'all had, because he used to talk to us. He would pull all the guards in one room. I used to get on this Lloyd. Well, I mean, he would tell me how y'all used to fight even during the games. I mean, that's how detailed he got with it. But man, but to hear your testimony that I did not know about, and to see where you are now, you said, again, you're not a man of religious, but man, you are so faithful.
And spiritual.
I'm honored, brother.
Hey, man.
I'm honored, man.
Sometimes,
thank you for today.
To you guys, let me just say, sometimes, man, you have to, because I don't like to do this. I don't like to look at the journey as much as I like to look at the future. Sometimes you need that, man. And so what you guys gave me today is a special moment, seriously, to be able to, you made me get emotional, but it's something to be emotional about, because I don't talk about a lot of this stuff because it's just That's life, right. It's just life. That's the way it is. But I enjoy the conversation, and what you guys don't realize is the mark that you've made. Okay, the mark that you guys have made. Seeing the movie, knowing you guys from a distance. Okay, don't ever feel like somebody who don't feel like I wasn't inspired by what you guys did. Let me put it to you that way. Okay, and a lot of other people. The first real documentary that I saw about basketball with people that I could identify with was yours. Okay. And I'm sure some of the thoughts that with my partner came through because of that. And so everybody can't thank you, but you have to know that you are appreciated in a special kind of way. There's a special kind of kinship that we all have, particularly coming from Chicago, okay? You are part of royalty in Chicago life. Don't ever forget that, no matter what happens. And I appreciate you and the work that you guys doing now. From my heart, I love you guys, man. Thank you so much.
I'm the goat of my era. I've been a trending topic. I'm as fly as a feather. My pocket's macroscopic. See, with time I get better. I'm always in the action, kid. Know I got it locked from Chicago where the toughest live. Concrete jungle, earn my stripes on the pavement there. You make it here, then you can make it anywhere. No comparison. Your game is embarrassing. No one can touch me. I'm all for going there again. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.
Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production. Written and produced by Arthur Agee, Will Gates, Matt Hoffar, with audio engineering from Matt Savage. For more episodes, check us out at www.unlearningnetwork.com.
Gotta be a dog to survive in this cold weather. Ice in my veins, no need for a warm sweater. I'm coming for it all, best believe I won't let up, yeah. Hey, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.